Hey guys, welcome to tonight's live. I'm Dr. Tammy, and I have a really cool topic tonight. And hi, Constantina. Hi, Connie. Did you make it home okay, Connie? In the crazy weather, that was so funny that we saw somebody on the Facebook post said they saw you. Thank you, Constantina. They saw you somewhere, and the girls, and I just know you have such a big energy. It's funny that you just take that with you wherever you go. It's so awesome. Um, Good. I'm so glad you did. That's awesome. Hey, you guys, and Connie has, if you see Connie on there, Connie Marie, she has her own video show and she sells all sorts of stuff like bras. And I actually ordered one of her bras. I can't wait to see it. So, anyway, support the sisterhood. And yeah, you met Margie. That's so cool. I love it. It is such a small world. You just like, you have to be nice to everybody because you never know who knows you. Okay, so this topic tonight is very near and dear to me because, well, for one thing, in med school, it's really interesting because you have to fake it till you make it. That's just part of it. And I don't know, wherever you are, whatever you had to learn in your career or wherever, wherever I think wherever you are at in your life. But there are just times when, what is the saying? Never let them see you sweat. There's just times when you have to push through things. And so in school, we always called it see one, do one, teach one. So I remember the first time I ever did sutures, I was scared to death. I was in the ER, like, okay, we'll go sew this lady up. And so I'm sweating bullets. It took me hours to sew this poor lady up, and she had head trauma, tons of sutures. But you just push through that, and my heart was racing, and I thought, how am I going to do this? And so confidence is really just being scared and pushing through it. And I think the difference between some people having confidence and some people not having confidence is oftentimes just what we're taught and what we're modeled and the people that we watch. And so I'm going to go through some really cool things and some things as I was doing some research and preparing for tonight that I really hadn't even thought of. So just, I learn a lot as I'm doing stuff for you guys and preparing for you guys. So I'm just gonna go through some of these things. And of course, I have to talk about hormones as one of the biggest things that influences confidence. But I want to talk about what it is, what it's not, and how hormone balance can help with that as well. And some key takeaways and some really cool things that I had never thought about that I want to share with you as well. Okay, so let's get right into it. Confidence. What is it? So I just want to say that confidence also has some very specific benefits to it. And one is that it can keep you safe. So, what do I mean by that? Hi, Dana. What do I mean by it can keep you safe? There's a lady that I was watching in her videos, and she actually worked for the CIA, and she talks about someone walking through a parking lot, and someone who is a predator actually looks and decides if that is easy prey. And so confidence can actually keep you safe, because if you look like you're not an easy target, then that can keep you safe. And I was also told, don't walk through a dark parking lot at night. The best defense is not to be there at all, right? So, I mean, there's just smart things that you can do. But, as you're walking out to your car, even in broad daylight, you could still be a target. So just walk like you know what you're doing. Don't be on your cell phone. Don't be distracted. And yeah, kind of, yeah, it could potentially, because they're going to look for the people who are mousy or appear uncomfortable, or, just like they would be an easy target. Also, it can help you grow. And so I think menopause, this time in our life, is a time that we can so expand into who we really are, because confidence has been working on us. We haven't just been working on our confidence, confidence has been working on us. And now we have the benefit of experience, and we can do a lot of things that we never dreamed that we could, just because we've been on this planet for a few days. We can try new ventures. We can try new travel. We can try new businesses. We can try new things like writing a book or something like that. So helps you grow, and confidence makes you happy. Everybody knows that when you feel confident, you just have a different glow about you. So let's get into again, what is it? Well, it's feeling good, it's healthy, it's balanced. It's when you feel like you're presenting the best you to the world. So you can't walk into a room of people, or you can't walk into a job interview thinking, oh my gosh, I look like crap today. I really wish I'd gotten some sleep. And oh, what if they don't like me? And what if I'm not qualified? And, all those little things, then that's so normal. That plays in my head every single day. I wish I could tell you that I'm this big confident person and everything's all sunshine and ponies. And it's not. Every single day that I get out of bed is a day I think I have to go and present myself to the world in a way that sometimes is hard. And especially being like presenting myself to you guys, because my tribe, Connie, Dana, Constantina, all you guys, Amanda, all you guys know me and you love me. And that's easy. And it makes confidence so easy when you know that you're among friends and among your tribe. But then you think, oh my gosh, there's a new one that just popped up, like Sweet Cheeks. Sweet Cheeks doesn't know me from anybody, probably. I don't know, unless you've been on before. I love that name, so I probably didn't recognize it. Um, so yeah, so you just you just have to push through sometimes when you think, oh, I'm going to be judged or I'm going to be looked at, and how many people pop in and out of these videos, and will they like what I have to say? And most importantly, will they hear my message? Will they hear my whole message? Because you guys know me. My intention is to talk about hormones, right? So I have to go there, but I have to give content that says this is why this is important and this is how you can fix it. And so a lot of times when you have to kind of push through when you don't feel confident, then when it's over, you feel so good about it. And then we have new people that join our tribe, and we have new people who subscribe. Is that what it's called? Or follow. It's called follow on here. And I'm thinking YouTube, but there's new people that follow, and then they watch this information and this material, and then you guys share, and then your friends come in. And I wish I knew who your friends were that you invite here, because I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, that's Connie's friend, and then that makes you feel really comfortable. So yeah, every single day is just a day that you get up and you do it again, and it's called being human, right? And I always try to remember, and I tell people, and I've done a ton of public speaking. I always try to tell people when they ask me, well, how do you be a public speaker? How do you do a TV show? And I always try to remember that it's not about me, it's about you. And I trust that God will give me the message to share that can be life changing for you. It's funny, I was just reading about Moses and Aaron, his brother. He actually begged God for Aaron to be able to speak for him because he had so much anxiety about public speaking. And they say that's like the number one fear. And I take it for granted because it flows really easily for me, but I don't get nervous, but I do worry about, is my message going to be received, and how is that, going to be? And you're always like, am I going to be judged? Are they going to be like, I did filler in my lips the other day and I bruised myself. And it's like, oh my gosh, are they going to see that bruise? So that is so normal. So if you do that every single day, if you don't want to take a picture, you don't want to take a selfie. I always say in selfies, I feel like I look like a Russian refugee. There's just something about selfies that just don't work. And it's all about lighting, right? All the things. So sometimes we just have to also accept that we are all in the same I'm scared to death club. And so, just vulnerability, when you're around people who can be vulnerable with you too, you feel safe, right? So much of the human condition, I truly believe, is about feeling safe. And our primitive brain, that makes perfect sense, right? Because we are always looking for the threat, because for our survival, we have to feel safe. Okay, so let's go into more. So healthy and balanced, you have to have your hormones balanced, you have to feel like you're rested, you have to feel like you're presenting your best self to the world. You can't have brain fog. You can't be like, just walking like a zombie into a situation, because you're not going to be confident if you're exhausted. You know how that goes, right? You've been tired before. And especially if your hormones aren't balanced and you're perimenopause or menopause and you feel like crap, the last thing you're going to do is feel confident if you go to a job interview or if you have to go to a public event. Okay. It's belief in yourself. And so, what I have to do sometimes is I have to, and this is about you, not me, but I'm just being vulnerable. Sometimes to believe in myself, again, I have to pull myself out of it. I have to remember that there is something that someone could benefit from me being in their life, that there is some message about hormones, health, and happiness. And so I have to show up in a way that's meaningful. So to believe in myself isn't always that I feel completely confident that I'm going to say the words. I mess up all the time. I'm my harshest critic. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just did that. Like, the other night when the board fell on my head. And I think that's one of the best things you can do to be confident, is just to be willing to make mistakes and let the board fall on your head, right? Okay. Um, you don't need external validation. That's what confidence is. I remember being a young girl in high school, and there was the Mean Girls. Remember the Mean Girls? And or maybe you were a mean girl. I don't know. Maybe I was a mean girl. I don't know. But I just remember that there was such a need in high school for that external validation, and our hormones were going nuts. Puberty was all over the board. I don't know if any of you guys watch the show Inside Out, or if you watch it with your kids or grandkids. I watched the second one. I think it might have been by myself just because I love the first one so much. And she's going through puberty, and all her hormones are changing so much, and it's so erratic, and you've got anger and fear, and you've got all these different emotions going on. So I think that part of external validation is that, again, that safety, that feeling like you don't feel safe or you need safety. And it's really interesting, if you like to read books that kind of help you understand like hormones and chemistry and stuff, there's a great book called The Female Brain, and she talks about the hormonal changes. And one of the things is, like with the Mean Girls, there is this sort of where they try to make you part of the crowd, but they can also make you part of not the crowd. And she talks about female lions, and female lions will sort of push people out, push the females out. And so the male lions go out and hunt and gather. Not that they gather, but they hunt. And so the female lions are totally dependent on the safety of, what they call it, pride of, anyway, the group of female lions. And so everything to do with safety is all around, do you fit in? Are you accepted? And so one of our most primitive fears is that we're not going to fit in and we're not going to be accepted. And that could be fatal in our primitive brains, right? So external validation says you're safe, and then Mean Girls gossip and they talk about people, and when you're not around they talk about you, and when you're around they talk about them, right? And so you constantly feel like you're not good enough. And then this messaging comes in, especially for women. I can't speak for men because I don't understand the male brain, but I see it, in my son too, and I see him feeling lack of confidence sometimes. And so it hurts for me as a parent. I don't know if it hurts for you as a parent when you see your children who are struggling, but it's painful. Confidence is a very tricky thing. It can be very painful. Um, so confidence is also taking care of yourself, and feeling medicine makes you hormone specialist. Well, being a family medicine physician for over 25 years, working with women with menopause. So her question was, family medicine resident makes you hormone specialist. I'm not an endocrinologist, which technically, they handle hormones, but I am a female who had a lot of hormone issues. And I mean, endometriosis, PCOS, fertility issues, and they don't teach internal medicine. They don't teach family doctors, and they don't teach endocrinologists or hormone board specialist hormone endocrinologists about menopause, not in this way. And so we have to self teach. I go to A4M, we have board certifications in that, and we have to self teach ourselves a lot, which takes confidence, right? It takes confidence to say that I feel like I'm a hormone expert, because I do it all the time, all day long, and that's all I do, except for a little bit of functional medicine and stem cells and stuff like that. So I feel like I am completely confident in saying that, because on a daily basis, I am micromanaging estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and all the things. So, okay. So, confidence is being kind and loved. And sometimes there are people that are not kind and don't feel loved because they feel like they have to get on TikTok and be mean to people. I'm so glad that you did that, because, yeah, my brother's an expert on UFOs, so that's funny. That's perfect. And thank you, honey, for blocking that person, because that is like just the very thing I was saying. I mean, talk about the Mean Girl Club, and somebody pops on there and wants to question me, and I'm completely confident in what I do, because they don't teach this in med school, and they don't teach micromanaging hormones, and they just want to push big pharma, right? So I guess some doctors are hormone experts if they can push big pharma, right? Okay, so anyway, I'm done. Really, that didn't rattle me, because I'm used to this. I mean, you can't be in the public eye very long without having people, be jerks. But anyway, there's that. Okay, being kind and loved. So I really truly believe that confidence is kindness, and I feel sorry for those people who just live to be mean to other people, because it's like, I get up every day, and my passion is to show up and to see my patients and to take care of them and to love on them. And, my tribe and our membership people, there are days like everybody else, you just want to stay in bed and the world just go on, so you really do have to focus on the kindness. And I just hate it that I always try to like look at where they are in their lives and what caused them to be so hurt. And I truly believe that that is a lack of confidence in people who have to be mean to other people. Because think about the most confident people you've ever known in your life. Those are the people that are the kindest. I mean, I think about the kind people in my life that I absolutely adore, and they're the most confident people ever. Think about, I'm not comparing like with Jesus, but he was so kind and he was so confident in his mission. And I feel like if you are truly kind and you're really showing up in the world as your authentic self, then that's where confidence comes too. Okay. And safety. We kind of talked about safety a little bit, but confidence is feeling safe. You cannot walk into a scary environment. You cannot walk down a scary, dark street and feel confident. So it's all about safety. So if you feel safe, right? If you are going to, okay, I'm absolutely terrified of heights. Terrified of heights. And so I get the sweats. I mean, I so much anxiety, I get nauseous. And so I don't feel safe. So would I feel confident in putting on hiking shoes and going over to the edge of a mountain cliff and looking over and waving? I actually did that. I went to Colorado one year with a group of people, and some of them were like on the edge going, woo, what if I fell? I'm like, oh my, I was just like shaking. I can't even hold my phone over the ledge of like the hotel, balcony or something like that, because like this part of me just gets totally anxious. So feeling safe is also feeling confident. If you're in a room of people that you're speaking to, you can feel confident, right? I feel safe with you guys, and I feel safe with my fiance moderator on here, because he's going to boot anybody who's being nasty. So that makes me feel safe, because, if he wasn't on there, I'd be like, oh, that disturbed me. But I feel totally confident in what I do. And just kind of a little side note, if I had to do family medicine in the way that I was trained, it would cripple me. I would be, it would be awful. I couldn't do it. God designed me to do what I do. So I have no problem saying that. I feel like I'm a hormone expert. So anyway, okay, I'm done with that. Okay, inspiration. Confidence is inspiration. Confidence is when you feel inspired or led to do something, then you have to present yourself in a way that says, and again, that goes into also saying, it's not about me, it's about the message, and I'm going to trust that God speaks through me. And so, if you have an inspiration to speak or to throw your marker, if you have an inspiration to speak, then that takes you creating confidence within yourself. So we could always also talk about these are the things that create confidence. Okay, and what it is not. It is not perfection. I am not perfect. I drop my marker, I drop my board. I am such a goofball all day long, every day. But I think that's part of what makes me who I am. So you really just have to embrace that you're not perfect, and it's your imperfections that make you special and different. I also think to that regard that there's this thought that I'm special, right? I can't do that because mine's a special case. Like I was born, with this fear of public speaking. And so when you start creating that everyone else can do that, I'm special because I can't, then that can also be a problem as well. So don't make yourself the exception to people who can push through and do things even when they're scared. Okay, so confident people make mistakes and they keep going and they don't let their mistakes define them. I have made so many mistakes in my life. And if I sat around and thought, oh my gosh, why did I do that? And I'm like everybody else, I have my moments when I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys ever do this, but do you ever go look at your Facebook memories sometimes and just go, what was I thinking? I just, it's just like, holy crap. And like, I'm so not the person I was 5 years ago because that person would not have done that or said that. Okay. Arrogance. Confidence is not arrogance. I tell my son all the time, and you guys probably know about him. He's 20 and he's so sweet. And I always say, confident, not cocky. It is completely different. Cocky is when you think you're better than everybody else or your poo doesn't stink. Confidence is when you know that you're vulnerable, you can be vulnerable with other people, but you know what you're talking about. You know what you're doing, and you know that you're not perfect, and you know that you make mistakes, and you know that you don't know everything. My favorite saying is, I don't know, but I'll find out because I'm that curious person and I don't just assume anything. And I'm always the first person to say, I don't know, but I'll find out. So that just makes it so much more real when you say, I don't know. And it is so easy these days with Google search or, AI, you just look something up in a minute. So there is like no reason not to be confident, right? With the amount of knowledge that's available to us. So feeling stupid is a really big fear of mine. And I just had to get through it and say, I'm quirky, I'm silly, I am not stupid, and you guys aren't stupid. We all know different things. Like, I know nothing about accounting enough to be dangerous, but you guys know your stuff. Maybe you're beauticians, maybe you're teachers, whatever you are, you know your thing. Maybe you're accountants, maybe you know your numbers. We all have our gifts to bring, right? So you have to embrace whatever that gift is. Labels. Be careful labeling yourself. Like, don't label yourself as incompetent in any way, like I'm stupid or whatever labels that we give ourselves that make us feel small. And then there's the victim mentality. Some people are victims. We've all been victims of things in our life. But I think there's a difference in that victimization syndrome where everything is always happening to you instead of for you. And so I think you have to be careful because that will steal your confidence. And confidence is not fear. Fear is pushing through things and doing it anyway. And what's interesting is I also saw something today that said you don't need confidence to grow. And I think learning new things has so much ability to create confidence in you and to increase your confidence. But there's a learning curve that makes you feel really, really, really stupid. And it happens to everybody. In fact, I watched a guy, and there's this saying 10,000 hours. And there's this thought that to be an expert in something, you have to put in 10,000 hours. Okay, so to be a hormone expert, I've put in more than 10,000 hours. So by that definition, I am. But this guy did a TED talk and he was so cool. And he said, 10,000 hours, yes, to be an expert. But he said, all you need is 20 hours to be proficient. And so it was the coolest thing. You can go look him up. You do the 20-hour ukulele player. But I watched him. And what he said was, if this is a curve, I always like to do these graphs. He said 10,000 hours. But if you do just 20 hours, which is just about a month to learn something new, like the ukulele, the learning curve looks something like this. It's really steep, and then it kind of levels off, and then it gets easy. And so that's the hardest part. So I was like, I always want to play guitar. And so I got a ukulele because it only has 4 strings, and you take things in steps. And I think some people get overwhelmed and they're not confident in a learning process because they don't know this number one thing. You break it down in steps. And the best teachers who have ever taught you anything in your life, think about how they taught it to you. They started from the basics, and they started from step 1, step 2, step 3, right? So this guy says, first you buy one. That's the first step. Then you learn how to tune it. I got on Google, learned how to YouTube, and I learned how to tune it. And then I learned what the 4 strings were. I got a finger chart so I would know the chords. I learned 4 chords, and all the pop songs, I mean, they're pretty much 4 chords, G, C, A, so it was really easy to learn 4 chords. And then I was playing like any pop song I wanted to look up. And then, I sucked. I played in my closet because I didn't want anybody to hear me because I had no confidence. But when you can push through that, I suck at this, that's where the confidence comes out on the other side. So I think it's really important that you commit, and that's where confidence comes, with commitment as well. Okay, so I'm going to get to the meat, of course, of all the hormone things, because I want to talk about when you don't feel good, you can't be confident. There's no way you can be confident with anything. And I know when my hormones are wacky, because it still happens. Even when I'm doing everything right, you have a little stressor, throws your cortisol off, throws your estrogen off, throws your progesterone off. Still have my days, right? But for the most part, I have my hormones balanced because that's what we got to do when we're in ovarian failure. And 100% of women go into ovarian failure after menopause. So having that hormone balance makes it a whole lot easier. And even when you were in your 30s and your hormones were at their highest point, you still had your days, right? And I think it's very interesting that as hormones fluctuate, especially estrogen and progesterone, which drive the menstrual cycle when we're still menstruating, right before ovulation, what do we call that? PMS, premenstrual syndrome. Now they got PMDD or whatever, so it's like right before then, we start to have this estrogen dominance, and it makes us really icky and mean and grumpy and aggressive. And we have to have this balance between progesterone to kick back in, or we feel terrible. And if you've been grumpy, like I know, like if I have been irritable or something with my family, I have no confidence the next day, right? Because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a bad mom. Oh my gosh, I'm a bad fiance, and so your confidence just gets totally smushed when you've just been mean. Mean. Yes. So when you are mean, that's not good. It hurts your confidence. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the main hormones of confidence. So testosterone is the main hormone. Oh, I want to use black. Testosterone is the main hormone of confidence because it affects your drive, your motivation, your assertiveness, and your courage. And if you think about men, hunter gatherers, like our primitive brainstem chemistry of our ancestors, they had to have a lot of testosterone, they had to have a lot of muscle, they had to have a lot of ability to hunt, and they couldn't be scared. And so they had to have the pull of testosterone. And women also have testosterone. And the medical community, commercial medicine, they lie to women and tell you that pretty much they like make you think that women don't have testosterone because they say you don't need that, but you so do. We women actually have more testosterone than estrogen, and men have a lot more testosterone. Don't get me wrong, but apples to apples, estrogen to testosterone, women have more testosterone. So if you're like me, all my life I was what's called a skinny PCOSer, which means I had estrogen dominance and progesterone deficiency and PCOS. Well, most of the PCOS people have a lot of cysts in the ovaries, but they have male hormone dominance, and I always had zero. So I'm just one of those backwards in a lot of ways. But so a lot of confidence I had to push through because I didn't have any testosterone and I couldn't be mean and I couldn't be assertive, which, has its own blessings too, because I was always just kind of meek and a little timid until I had to push through and fake it till I made it, right? So, but testosterone is super important. And one of the easiest things that you can do is DHEA because it's a precursor to testosterone and it doesn't have the effects of the masculine things like growing a mustache or a beard or acne or some weight gain that you can get with testosterone. So I love DHEA for that reason. But still, if your testosterone levels are low and DHEA is not cutting it, then testosterone absolutely is something that can help as well. Estrogen. Estrogen gives us that glow. Estrogen makes us feel feminine. Estrogen makes us feel powerful. Estrogen gives us the confidence to be moms and to be caretakers. And so, estrogen helps build collagen in your skin so you feel like your skin is healthy. And it helps keep your teeth healthy because it helps the gums be lubricated so you don't get dry mouth and get cavities and bad breath and all those kinds of things. So, super, super important to have estrogen. And estrogen helps with your blood vessel elasticity. So, you have blood flow to all areas of your skin. You have libido, you feel good, you feel feminine, you have healthy hair, you have healthy skin and nails and all the things that estrogen gives us, especially as women. So if you want to be confident, and I believe that confidence from the outside is just as important. I always say, if you got a dent in your car, you would fix it. But yet, women, if we do things to make ourselves more attractive, we're vain, and that's just stupid. We're just taking care of what God gave us. Mish says, "I'm skinny with endo. It sucks." Yep. So, skinny PCOSers and endometriosis, all those things. And nobody plays by the rules. I have patients who have low thyroid who are skinny. And so it gets missed all the time because you don't have that classic textbook hormone manifestation, right? So that's why it gets missed a lot. Okay, progesterone keeps you calm and collected. It is the anti inflammatory hormone. It helps with sleep. So important with sleep. One of the first things that happens after menopause is women stop sleeping because their progesterone crashes. And that's the first thing in perimenopause that goes. And so women will say, I'm only in my 40s. Why am I not sleeping anymore? Why am I feeling angry all the time? Because they don't have enough progesterone to balance out the other hormones. So it's all about balance. But the word progesterone means progestation. And if you've ever been pregnant, you know that you are really, really sleepy in that second trimester. And that's because your uterus is making so much progesterone. So you need that to sleep. And if you're not sleeping, you're going to feel really grumpy too. So love progesterone. I wish I made more noticed in my late 30s. Yes. So start early. Perimenopause happens as early as the early 30s. So start now and do it now. 999. That's a pretty high progesterone level, but I'm glad you feel like it's good. Okay. Cortisol. Cortisol is what we think of cortisol belly, but cortisol is really important for stress. And one of the biggest things that will bleed your confidence is stress all the time. And I can remember there was a time negative 999. Okay, we got to get you hang on. Oh my gosh. Oh, I see what you're saying. Negative 999. Okay, mom, 23 boys. I think you ordered a test kit. So get yourself a test kit if you haven't yet, or anybody who doesn't know what their hormone levels are. We have a special. It's only $129, but if you use the code TikTok20 at checkout, it's only $109. And you can check your hormone levels and see if these are out of whack. And then we can talk about getting you on some bioidentical hormone creams, whether that's progesterone or estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, whatever it is, whatever your deficiency, and get your confidence back. So you can go to my link in bio if you want to find more information or if you want to order a test kit. And the shipping is free, and it's free to ship it back to the lab. It's a saliva test, so it's super easy, and you don't need a doctor to do it, which is wonderful. I mean, you have to have a doctor to have an account, but we have an account. But anyway, you just can order the test kit, no problem. Nobody needs to give you their permission or even blessing. Just order a test kit, fill out the questionnaire, and there's like 30 different symptoms on here. Everything from, I always like to say frozen shoulder, but everything from water retention to not sleeping to brain fog, losing muscle mass, all the things. And so you just put your saliva in this little tube, put it in the kit, pop it in a mailer, send it through UPS, and we'll analyze your results and tell you what's going on, and then get you on some bioidentical hormones. So, okay. So cortisol is what they call the superpower hormone, and it sounds bad because it sounds like that's the thing of belly fat. But what happens is if you blast out all your cortisol all the time because you have stress and you need it for the stress response, when it starts to deplete, now it starts to make all these hormone shifts that cause inflammation and cause you to gain weight in your belly. So it's not really like this magical cortisol going, hey, we're going to put fat in your belly. It's the imbalance. That was creepy, wasn't it? I love you guys. Thank you for putting up with my creepy. So anyway, it's not like cortisol is just like this wicked witch of the, West. Is it the West, East? I don't know. That's just saying, oh, we got to put fat on your belly. It is the imbalance in cortisol, because cortisol is actually very protective. It's your body's natural anti-inflammatory. Like if you've ever got a cortisone shot, that's God's ibuprofen to you, but we're giving you the synthetic version of that for your joints or a cold or anything like that. Oh, okay. It's okay, Mish. Go eat. I repost these, but these are streaming live right now on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. And so you can go watch those even if I don't get this post reposted for a few days. So go enjoy your dinner, and thanks for hanging out with us for a while. And if you haven't done it yet, go order a test kit. My shameless plug. Okay, so cortisol and adrenaline is another adrenal hormone. And if you have too much cortisol over too long, it will cause an increased stress response. And then there are actually areas in your brain that actually will shrink. They've done studies with like war soldiers that over time, the areas of their cognitive function and their stress areas in their hippocampus actually shrink with time from the cortisol response. So too much cortisol over time will make you not be able to think clearly. And if you can't think clearly and you're stressed out and you have PTSD, you're not going to be very confident to do a lot of things, because it's really going to cripple and keep you from doing the things that you want to do. So, okay, oxytocin is what's called the love hormone. It is the hormone that is secreted that makes the love, cuddle, snuggle world feel great. It is a hormone of pregnancy that makes that let down that pitocin actually makes you let down your milk, and it calms cortisol. So when a baby cries, it has cortisol trigger. When mom holds it, it has a oxytocin response, which balances out the cortisol. So oxytocin can be gotten in lots of different places, but one of them is a 60-second hug, which that's a really long hug. So you have to really know someone well to get a 60-second hug. And one of the problems too is if you are really super stressed out, the last thing you want is a hug sometimes, right? Because you're mad or you've had a bad day and your significant other, like my fiance, he's like, okay, baby, come on, let me hold you. I'm like, do not touch me because you're just in that state and you're not only your cortisol, your stress hormone is up, but your adrenaline is up and you are just like on fire. And it's really bad when your hormones are imbalanced. So if you are perimenopause or menopause, or even younger, if you have estrogen dominance all the time, endometriosis, PCOS, all the things, then you want to get your hormones balanced too, because life is too short to feel like that all the time. And will you still have some days sometimes when you feel crappy? Yeah, you'll still have some days sometimes. But for the most part, if you feel good and your hormones are balanced and your skin is glowing and you're sleeping well and you can handle things, then that's great. Just had somebody tell me the other day, one of our members, that it seems like going places does not seem to be like the chore that it used to be. That the anxiety that kind of comes with hormone imbalance over time that makes you think, oh my gosh, I don't want to go to the grocery store. I hate people. I think of it like it's getting your hormones balanced makes everybody nicer or makes everybody less stupid. So yeah, that's a thing, right? Okay, so oxytocin is also social security, not the money that you make when you retire, but social security. It makes you feel safe, and safety makes you feel confident. Thyroid, insulin, and GLP, how do those work? Well, thyroid, if your thyroid is too low or too high, you can have some physical manifestation that will affect your confidence, like dry hair or your hair is falling out. Will there be a Zoom for Bliss members anytime soon? Yes, we do it the first. She's asking for our Bliss membership. We do it the first Tuesday of the month. Go in and look in your Practice Better app, and Reagan will post that in there to find us. So, yeah, that's coming up pretty quick. I cannot believe February is almost over. I mean, this month has just flown by. It's just nuts. But yeah, if you don't see it there, just direct message me and I'll tell you too. But just go into your Practice Better app. So, okay, she's talking about in our Bliss membership. So you can go to bliss.com and the entrance in is to get your hormones checked because we want to make sure. And almost everybody's hormones are messed up if you're listening this long and you've been tolerant of my goofiness. I can pretty much guarantee that your hormones are messed up. But almost all of us are. I mean, it's crazy. A lot of women are just walking around and don't know. I mean, they know their hormones are messed up. They just don't know how bad. And they don't know that all these things they're feeling is because their hormones are messed up. But so the Bliss program is you do the test kit and then we get you on bioidenticals and we have all sorts of support in there too. So it's about lifestyle changes, things like that as well. But once a month, I do a group call and it just feeds my soul because it's like the whole tribe is just such a blessing to me. And I just feel safe and I feel confident and I feel like they love me and want to be there. And it's just, there's nothing like it. It just feeds my soul. And so my moderator is telling me that if you order a test kit in this next month, that will also send you a free copy of my Balancing Act book. This is the second edition. And I did the second edition because I wanted to do a corny little thing and put notes in here so that you can take notes as you research hormones. So I want you to feel safe and comfortable with bioidentical hormone therapy. You've been lied to. Natural hormones, not the medications, not the synthetic stuff. Natural hormones don't cause cancer and they protect you. So I know that's a bold statement, but follow me, look at my videos, read my book, and you'll get more confidence with the fact that they're not only life changing but life saving. Okay, so insulin can make you overweight, and GLP is the thing of the weight loss shot. So if you are overweight, it is really hard to feel confident. And I don't care who you are or how they say, don't shame me because I'm overweight. I would never shame anybody that's overweight. I know that if you're overweight, that your hormones are out of balance. I know that 100%. And you're never going to lose weight easily if you struggle with hormone imbalance as well. But those things, if you feel like, and I have women tell me all the time that their libido's probably not that bad, their testosterone's probably not that low. They just don't feel confident. They don't feel like they can put on something pretty. They don't feel sexy. They don't feel like they can really present themselves in a way that they feel, pretty and charming and attractable. And also, if you feel grumpy and mean and you're not sleeping all the time, nobody's going to be attracted to that, right? So that's really going to affect your relationships as well. Okay, and then there are other neurochemicals like serotonin, dopamine, GABA, glutamate, norepinephrine, and endorphins. So endorphins are the things that make you happy and make you feel good. So I'm going to run through these really quickly, and then I'm going to give you some actionable things that you can do to balance your hormones and get confidence in a lot of other ways too. So I want to talk about the mindset of confidence as well. And so I broke this down into judgment, discipline, gratitude, resilience, and self talk. So we'll kind of go through those briefly. But the hormones of judgment are cortisol and adrenaline, because this is a really stress related thing. Discipline is dopamine, because when you have those little wins, when you say, I'm going to exercise and I'm going to identify with someone who is fit and I'm going to do the things to be able to identify with that person, project my future self, that is a dopamine rush. It's almost like scrolling on social media. It feels really good. So does when you win, even if it's a little win. I did that. I so did that. That's okay. So even if it's just, I put on my walking shoes and I walked a mile this morning, or I walked 10 feet. I mean, it's just like your confidence starts to build. And I remember when I first started exercising, my son was little. I grew up in that era where it was like there weren't gyms. There was Richard Simmons. And like I remember getting workout videos and thinking, this is weird. Like the DVDs, right? And so when I finally decided that I don't like my estrogen dominant accumulated fat in my hips, and I'm going to do something about this, and I would really like to feel good in a short skirt, and I would really like to feel good in a bathing suit and have some abs, and I committed to that. You don't see the results right away. It takes weeks. I remember it was actually about the 3-month mark, and I was like, I have some tone in my arms. I have some tone in my abdomen. So you have to be able to say, I'm going to do this. And I know it's going to be 3 months before I start to see the results, and identify with that and say, I'm okay. If it happens sooner, great. And I know in 3 months, I'm not going to be the ideal that I want to be. And I have to be able to deal with the setbacks and the frustration. And why isn't this working? And why am I making this sacrifice? And why am I getting up every morning and doing this? And I'm not seeing a results, because habit creates results, and it takes time. It takes time. You have to be patient with things, because habit creates results. If your habit is to go to Krispy Kreme every morning and have a donut, um, you're going to get a different result than somebody who gets up and spends 15 minutes exercising. Let's see. That's where I am now, taking my wins, no matter how small. I'm going to be on week 3 on BHRT. Yay! I love it. Yes. Yay. Awesome. I love it. And so, yeah, so getting that balanced, bringing your confidence back just because you're feeling a little bit better and having some wins. And it does take a little bit of time. And getting on hormones, usually you feel better faster. But when you make those commitments to those things that are going to build your confidence, those little wins do trigger dopamine, which is wonderful. So I want to talk, I skipped over judgment, just a few things. With judgment, you have to be kind to yourself, manufacture a story, tell a new story that says, you know what, I'm not going to believe the things that people have told me in the past about me. And I'm going to be kind to myself. And my new story is I am resilient, which is another thing on the list. Um, Safety, don't judge yourself as like in a place where you're not safe. And I always say, they didn't leave, God moved them. So if there are people who are toxic in your life and you don't feel safe and you feel judged by them, hang on, because God's going to move them, I promise. And it won't feel good at first, but I promise. Toxic, unless you keep attracting it, unless you learn the lessons and become confident in who you are, you'll keep attracting it. But anyway, so you're having all this cortisol and adrenaline, all this anxiety response when you feel not safe or when you feel shame or embarrassment. And we all make mistakes. We all mess up. We all suck at things when we're first learning them. Everybody. And whatever you're committed to, you are going to get better at as long as you can get through the feeling stupid phase, right? Okay, gratitude. So gratitude actually increases your GABA, which is a brain chemical, and your serotonin, which is your happy hormone. And I love to do gratitude journals every morning. So, so powerful. I know it sounds corny and silly, but gratitude is so, so important because gratitude, if you just pick three things to focus on and three things that you're grateful about yourself. So if you feel confident or not confident about your appearance, what are three things about your appearance that you like? I like my fingernails. They look really nice when I have a manicure. I like my eyelashes. They grow nice. I like my feet. They look cute in sandals. Just three things. And then you start to build off of that. Okay. Think about all the people that would love to be you. Like when you have confidence and you're like, oh, I'm so XYZ, right? Just think about like, I had a girl one time and I'll never forget, I was at a business conference and I was rooming with her and I didn't even know her. I mean, we like just, kind of connected and was like, hey, let's split a room, split the rates. And I remember she was so pretty. And we got up that morning and she was like, oh, I just look terrible. Like, and she didn't have any makeup on and she was still so pretty. And I thought, I would kill to look like you waking up like that in the morning. And here she's being so hard on herself and she's just seeing all these flaws and everything. So just think about the people that would like to be you. I mean, heck, if you want to just stretch it out to somebody from a third world country that's starving right now and anorexic because they don't have any food, I mean, just think about the blessings and your confidence that you are who you are and where you are. And realize you're safe and you're loved. So that's nice. Resilience, how fast you recover, identify with what you've been through. Confidence comes from clarity from the past. Like, I know I've been through that. I'm super strong. I can't believe I survived that. I can't believe I'm on the other side of this. When you're going through it, you probably didn't think you'd ever get through it, but you did. And so that resilience should give you confidence. If nothing else, I survived that. I am thriving now. I am doing good. And maybe you're not quite through it. Maybe you're in a place where you can't wait to be through it and you don't even believe that you will get through it. But I promise you, if you stay the course, you will. Okay. And then there's self talk. I love this idea, and I've actually done this before. Get a picture of yourself when you were 5 years old. And when you start beating yourself up, like, oh my gosh, my house is always a mess, or I'm so stupid, or I can't believe I said that, get out that picture of your 5 year old self and tell her that and see how that feels because it doesn't feel good to talk to her like that. So my little Tammy, my little 5 year old Tammy is so precious and she's so cute. And she had these big red curly Shirley Temple curls, hair, and just every big chubby cheeks. And like I look at her and I think, oh my gosh, how could I be mean to her? So that's super powerful. So get that picture out and talk to her. Also, if you really want to blow your mind, look up a guy named Dr. Emoto, Emoto, and he was a scientist who studied water and crystals. So just like Google Dr. Emoto and the water experiment. And he basically took water and words taped on paper on water in these jars in this room. And then another room, he took water in these jars and he put words like, I love you, you're beautiful, you're safe on these jars. And then another room, he put, I hate you, you're stupid, you don't deserve to live on these other jars. Then he took that water after, I don't know, weeks, months, I can't remember, and he froze it and he put it under electron microscope. And the patterns that were on the water with the loving words were like beautiful snowflakes. They were perfect in symmetry. The one on the water that was mistreated was like cavernous and so irregular and chaotic. And I truly believe that love is beautiful and symmetrical, and even every snowflake's different, but there's symmetry within that and it's beautiful. So our bodies are up to 90% water. So if you're talking to water that way, if you're talking to yourself like that, you're creating disease, you're creating dysfunction, you're creating mind chemistry chemicals that are not working to your advantage. So it's really important how you talk to yourself. Okay, so I want just a few things because I promised you that I was going to talk about hormones and happiness. And if you look at a graph from birth to 100, our estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone during these times in our life in our 30s are high. And then after menopause or surgical menopause, whatever happens, completely flatlines. And we're expected to live like this till we're however old, 100 or 400, whatever happens. Our confidence here is so much higher because we have those estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. We're young. We feel good. You know, it's so funny because I see young girls sometimes and I'm thinking, I would kill to have your skin back. And you don't even know how good you've got it. And then they're standing around like in the bathroom at the mall going, oh, I hate my skin. I hate my hair. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I would kill to have that. So, you know, it's just when you're in your 20s and 30s and you have those high estrogen levels and your skin is glowing, it is so easy to have confidence back there. When you feel like crap and you're not sleeping from the age of 50 to 100 because your ovaries literally dry up and you have no hormones, there's no way you're going to feel as confident there. So confidence in hormones, right? Okay, so how to build confidence. Balance your hormones for sure, 100%. So start with a test kit. Come see us. It's just you fill out this form with all your symptoms, like up to 30 of them. You put your saliva in this little tube. You put it in the mailer, send it to UPS. It's just a little over $100. If you went to a doctor and could talk them into checking your estrogen, progesterone, or testosterone, it probably cost you around $600 and your insurance probably wouldn't pay because they'll say it's not medically necessary, which is hooey because if you didn't have a thyroid, would they tell you it's not medically necessary to check your thyroid levels? Or would they just guess and give you a random thyroid amount? So it's crazy. But anyway, so get your hormones tested. Just go to hormonebliss.com, or you can go to my link in bio and all the links are there to order your test kit. And then let's get you on some bioidentical hormones. And it's based on your chemistry and your symptoms. And so we can get your hormones balanced and get you feeling better. Okay, other ways to build confidence: exercise, not only because your body will look better and you'll feel more confident because your body looks better, but because exercise increases chemicals called endorphins, and that actually helps you feel better and more vibrant, which will make you more confident. And it increases your testosterone every time you exercise, so your muscles will look better. Eating well, it'll make your skin glow. I had a lady today asked me, what can you do for acne? And I asked, what do you eat? And she's just kind of telling me, I love sugar. And, you know, I'm a sugar addict. And I'm like, you have to give up the sugar. And, you know, they used to say that, oh, no, that has nothing to do with what you eat. Acne has everything to do with what you eat because it's hormonal. And if you have sugar problems and you have insulin resistance, and then you have too much testosterone, you're going to have acne. So if anybody's ever told you that acne is not related to what you eat, that is crap. There is no truth to that. So yeah, there's my little rant. I'm telling you what average cost of the cream is. So yeah, so what we do is once you get your hormones tested, we talk to you and decide what is a good plan for you. So I don't want to be evasive about that, but it's super affordable and it's a monthly membership. So just talk to your coach and we can get a plan that fits for you. So we try to work with everybody. So it's much cheaper than going to a endocrinologist who's not even going to help you or just throw synthetics at you. So much cheaper if you had to go through a doctor in your town or something like that. Okay. Oh, you're so welcome. Okay. Take action. Clarity only comes from doing. Just fake it till you make it. And it's really interesting too. I saw this study that there were people who were doing sales on the phone, and they found out that if the people who were on the phone, you couldn't even see them, if they smiled, that it actually increased their confidence. And the people thought that they were more confident on the other side and liked them better, which makes you more confident when you're liked because you feel safe, right? So smiling. So I'm going to say just smile even when you don't feel like smiling. Sleep well. So you absolutely need progesterone to help you sleep. Learn new things even though you're going to go through the stupid phase. Everybody does. Every time you learn something new, you have to be ready to go through the stupid part. And just know that you're learning and know on the other side that you're going to have more confidence. And it's okay if you're going to learn to play guitar, do it in your closet. Nobody has to hear you or listen. Nobody has to hear the frustration or, the slamming of the doors when you get frustrated, but just push through it. Gratitude, we talked about that. Fake it until you make it. Practice self-compassion. Just be easy on yourself. We're all stupid sometimes. We all make mistakes. We all do things that we wish we hadn't have done. I feel like, my son's 20 now, almost 21. I feel like there are times when I was probably the worst parent ever, and yet he still turned into a freaking amazing young man that I am so proud of. I even think about him and I just light up. And in fact, we were doing some pictures the other day. Our tribe, part of our tribe came to visit me all the way from Minnesota, I think it was. Oh, I just forgot. But yeah, they made their little trek through Kansas City to come see us. You can go on my TikTok page. There's a video and some pictures of them. But I thought it was so beautiful that they felt so compelled to come meet us. It was just amazing. But we were taking pictures, and I feel like when I'm having pictures taken of myself, I'm always like, I feel like my grin is kind of fake, It's like I'm trying, like not that I'm not happy. It's just like I feel like, and so I learned this trick one time, and it was think about someone you really, really love. So if I think about my son, like I light up, and I'm like, I might have a goofy smile, but I look really happy in a picture. So think about someone or your fiance, which I adore mine. Think about somebody that you really, really love, and you'll be okay. But my point being that even though I felt like I was a really crappy parent sometimes, I think of my son and I just light up and I feel confident in that I had a role in that. And somehow I didn't mess him up too bad because he's such an amazing, amazing human being. So that I'm very confident in. Again, even though I feel like I sucked at it a lot of the times, and I was a single mom, just doing the best I could. But wow, I must have done something right. So as a parent, I'm like, I was on the back a little bit. Okay. Number 10 is the most important thing. And I'll leave you with this because I know I'm way over my time. And that is laugh. Laugh. If you take nothing else away from tonight, laugh, okay? A lot. And if your hormones are imbalanced, it's really hard to laugh because nothing's funny. But laugh a lot. Laugh at yourself, not in a self deprecating way, but laugh and be kind and be happy because happiness balances your hormones because thoughts become things, become hormone chemical changes. And so if you can find your happy, think about something that makes you happy. Like me for my son, I just light up, or my fiance, or you guys, you make me happy. You make me like in this place where I feel really confident. So yeah, so laugh a lot. Just be happy as best you can. Cream should be here soon. I can't wait to start. Yay, Tara! I'm so excited. Cream said, and laugh at yourself when you have typos because I have typos almost like I have more typos I think than I actually have corrected letters when I like text or sometimes even when I type. My typing teacher from 6th grade would be like totally like she's probably passed away by now because she was old when I was in high school or junior high or whatever. But if she is, she's probably rolling over in her grave as many typos as I make when I type. Hello, Jennifer. All right, kids. Well, I love you all very much. If you are new to our tribe and want to become part of our sisterhood, go to hormonebliss.com or you can go to my link in bio on my video page. If you go to my picture up there in the top, see, up there, and you click on my picture, it'll take you to my main page. And then you could go to my link tree. Tons of free downloads, lots of information. Educate yourself. Education is power. And do not suffer no matter what you do. If it's not us or our tribe, find your tribe and get your hormones balanced because you will never have that feeling of confidence and feel good, especially if you're menopausal and you get zero hormones. You're never going to feel good like that. So make sure you get that balance. Oh, Constantina, I love you too. All right, honey. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful night. And I'll also mention that I do have a book called Life Flip and it's on Amazon. And it's a pretty cool book. And I have lots of exercises and stuff for stress in there and finding your happy. So it's a really cool thing. It was like a God download one night that I had about some specific stress techniques and some ways to find your happy. So you can go on Amazon and get that if you want. Okay. And again, you get a free copy if you order a test kit. And if you join our membership, you get a free copy of my book as well. So all things hormones and learn all things hormones and find some bioidentical hormone cream somewhere for your happy. Okay. I will see you guys. I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night. So this is Monday. So I will see you Wednesday night at 7. Please tell your friends. That's the only way we change the world. That's the only way I get my dream of getting 50% of women on hormones, which still isn't where it was before that study in 2002. But I'll feel like I have done my job if at least 50% of women know that they have options and that they don't have to suffer. Okay. See y'all Wednesday. Love you.